These people, they're blasphemers. A cult. A disease.
Apostle. This is the somewhat anticipated Netflix movie from Gareth Evans. Now, I say somewhat because I'm fairly certain 50% of you hadn't even heard of it. But those that had, they'd seen the trailer when it was dropped and probably, like me, were really excited for this movie to come out. It's a pseudo horror movie or thriller, maybe supernatural, I guess. It's quite difficult to really pin down as to what genre this movie falls into. We follow a brother, played by Dan Stevens, that has had his sister kidnapped by a religious cult on an island. They have served the family with a ransom letter and he's sent out to the island undercover to rescue his sister. The island itself is framed as some kind of haven, or so we are led to believe anyway, and no man wants for nothing there because she provides this religious figure. Who she is isn't entirely explained, but I will get to that later down the line. As our main protagonist goes about trying to find his sister, things start happening and we see some elements of some supernatural happenings, some elements of horror, and some fantastic action scenes. We see rivers of blood, we see a woman in a bed of vines being fed flesh and blood, and as these things happen, we see the vines bloom instantly with flowers. This is the woman that the religious cult was founded around. They believe that this person, this woman, is a god, and the leader, the person who's leading this village, is a prophet. She's talking through him and providing for this village, this island. The protagonist eventually gets found out and we see some twists and turns here and there through the characters, and it culminates in our protagonist saving his sister, killing the woman because she apparently wanted to be killed, and saving the day, then becoming a creature just like the woman was. But again, I'll get to that. So now you know basically what happens, let's talk about this movie. It's incredibly beautifully shot. The photography itself is absolutely staggering in this movie, genuinely. There's some great uses of Dutch angles, the right way, and there's some drone shots that are just mind-blowing, and all round, everything has a rich colour and depth. It just looks so very well put together. The acting from some of the characters is okay. Our main protagonist, though, played by Dan Stevens, unfortunately, he would make a better voice actor than an actor because he doesn't really seem to emote. He looks, most of the time, like a deer trapped in the headlights of a car. It's really quite baffling. He's on this island trying to be hidden and blending in, and yet ultimately he just looks perplexed, worried and scared all the time. Which I guess you kind of would be, but it just removed me from the movie a bit when he's just looking like a wide-eyed deer. Everyone else, though, puts on a pretty great show with some notable standouts. The action scenes look absolutely fantastic. They look as fantastic as the photography, and it will be of no surprise it's because it's from the man behind the raid, Gareth Evans. So it makes perfect sense, but that's where the praise has to end. This movie did have some great ideas, some absolutely amazing ideas, but I tweeted out my first reaction to it, and unfortunately I had to say that it's more style over substance. It's as if the writers just went, we're going to do this now, because it's cool. Yeah, but why? Because how cool is that? Yeah, but where's the explanation? Screw the explanation. Why is the woman there? What is it? Is it an avatar of the island? Nope. Why, when she dies, do all the houses get set on fire? Did she do that? And if so, why didn't she do it before she died and set herself free? Who's her mate that is tending to her? Is he human? Is he doing her bidding? If so, why didn't she tell him to set her free? If it's a man, why does it make the noises of a cat being beaten in a bag? Now, there are some answers that I could personally come up with. Why were things turning rotten? Why was the land toxic? Potentially, this could be man's greed getting the better of them. The island was fine before they turned up, but as they force-fed the woman blood to give them a bountiful harvest, things then started to turn toxic and bad. The soil went foul. So this is potentially, likely, a Mother Nature symbolism. Man's greed killing themselves. Without man, nature thrives, so on and so forth. I believe as she died in the fire and our protagonist had set her free, plus sacrificed himself in the process, maybe the reward was to live on as a form of a nature god on the island as well, I guess. But like I said, that's a bit of a stretch and purely me guessing, but it's an educated guess from the lack of information that we got in the movie. So look, this movie isn't bad at all, it's just not very coherent. The man says how much he believes God has abandoned them and that there is no God, and yet at the end of the movie, he says to another character, "Pray for me." What? What? It's things like this that really do kind of remove yourself from the story if you've been paying attention, because you just go, what? No. And then there's things like, who built all of the town? Who carved the stone statue of the nature woman? I appreciate that clearly they have been there for a while, but was there a stonemason among them? They also built an underground river of blood as well, apparently. Were they there that long? So anyway, I really liked this film up until a point. It has great photography and a really, really awesome score. And as the story progresses, there is a real sense of tension and atmosphere. It is a tense and in some certain scenes quite atmospheric and borderline unnerving movie. There are incredibly visceral action scenes, which again, when you relate it back to the man behind the raid, it makes perfect sense. And also on top of that, there's some incredibly bloody and hard R things in this film. The practical effects and the makeup work in this movie is some of the best that I've seen this year, truly, and that's not an overstatement. It's very, very good, but it just didn't keep track of much. I don't want a movie to handhold me, but I do want my engagement to be rewarded with some answers, and sadly this didn't deliver. When you're sat there watching a movie, you want your engagement to be rewarded with a good third act which kind of wraps the film up nicely. And unfortunately, in their want to be so vague, this film will probably lose a lot of people and leave a lot of people feeling quite disengaged and disenfranchised from the story that they've just watched. It's on Netflix though, and it is only an hour and a half, so I can recommend that you go and watch it based off of that, but be warned, you will probably come away from it feeling a little like I have. However, it's definitely not deserving of a hate review because of how amazing the other elements in this movie were. They genuinely were absolutely fantastic. So if you've seen it, I would really love to hear your thoughts. Did you get any of the sense of what was going on in this movie, or did you, like me, come away from this film feeling a little bit robbed for your time? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. And to all returning subscribers, if you've ever wanted to meet me, well, this month you do actually have your chance. I'm going to be in London on the evening of the 26th of October at a bar called Pimp Shui. You can give it a Google. It's a kind of a dive bar thing. And I'm going to be there to celebrate the launch of a documentary movie thing that I'm supporting. It's In Search of 80s Horror. It's an 80s horror documentary which encapsulates a lot of the things which I do here on my channel, so it goes hand in hand with what I do, and that's why I'm supporting it. But like I said, if you've ever wanted to meet me, come along, have a beer with me, chat crap, and we can just generally hang out. If not, don't worry, and if you're new here, then please do hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the world of pop culture and movie news, along with reviews, just like this one. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button and give it a share, as that helps support the channel. Also, if you want to take your support to just that little next level and have access to exclusive content, then please do check out my Patreon page in the link below. As always though guys, I haven't missed an H, and I will catch you in the next video.